A very good afternoon. You're watching Riding the Bull right here on ET Now. I am Ajay Sharma along with me, Avan Dubash. And Avan, clearly the market is trading at day's high right now. Second day running, we are witnessing some boost also coming in from short covering because ahead of the Karnataka elections, clearly nobody wants to remain short. Who knows if BJP comes back, there may be a big rally. So people are generally just squaring up their short trades, and that is also giving some amount of boost to the market right now. Look at that. Gradually going higher. Today it's the turn of Tata Motors. Some beaten down names are doing well last couple of days. ICICI shot up after results, and now it's Tata Motors which is the best performing stock, along with Bharti which is doing well. How are the mid cap scene doing today, Avan?
Well, you know, it's contradictory moves. So the mid and the small cap index, which is what we witnessed yesterday. So the mid cap index is looking a little bit tempered. Small caps, by the way, yes, they have come off, but yesterday there was quite a bit of conviction. It's metals and IT, energy, banks, which are managing to support. But yeah, it's very stock specific from the broader end of the market as well. So yeah, I'm going to flag off some of the names. You got DCM Shriram, which is firmly in the green. Take a look at ITD Cement, which has shot up a good 6%. AstraZeneca is having a stellar day. Mahindra Holidays put out a good set of numbers. We'll be interacting with the management later on in the day. Arvind all set to deliver its earnings, and AU Small Finance, those are some of the outperformers today in trade. But 10,750 on the index, so not bad after all the give and take. Let's get on board our guests, and joining in this afternoon, Manas Jaiswal, who is with us. We also have Mihir Vora, Director and Chief Investment Officer at Max Life Insurance. Good afternoon to you, gentlemen. I'm going to come to you first, Manas, and get in those technical ideas. We're at the high point of the day. Where is it that you're placing your bets?
See, Nifty has a lot of resistance on high levels, in the range of 10,700 and 10,800. So I think here one should be cautious, and that is why I have two recommendation, and one is sell and one is buy. So first one is a sell call on Chola Finance, where last week we saw some profit booking on high levels, and today it has broken the neckline of head and shoulder pattern on the hourly chart. And after this move, I think the possibility is very high that the stock can test its 3-day moving average. So here the target would be around 1530. Take a short call, keep the stop loss above 1635. Secondly, the buy on Arvind Industries, because after a very long time we have seen a clear breakout on the charts. We saw a lot of volumes today, and stock is trading above the resistance of 430. The possibility is very high that here you may see some more upside. The target would be around 470. Stop loss should be 424.
Thanks very much for that, Manas. Mihir Vora is also with us today, the CIO at Max Life Insurance. Mihir, good afternoon, long time chatting with you. Tell us, how are you approaching the market right now? Is it the short covering ahead of the Karnataka election which is happening, or you think genuine buying is come back to the market now that earning season is not thrown up any ugly surprises so far?
Hi, good afternoon. It looks like a bit of short covering, and we did see the month of March. The markets did correct quite a lot, and of course they bounced back since then. Volumes overall are still low, and we do see that some of the actions are happening with low delivery volumes. Mutual funds and FII gross volumes have also dwindled over the last few months. So I think it's a lot of activity which was linked to speculation and positions built up on the short side and now getting covered. I would agree with that, yes.
Okay. Mihir, hi there. Good afternoon. I wanted to get in your perspective on the overall rural theme as well. That is a factor that a lot of experts are talking about, given the fact that we have a normal monsoon that's expected. And as a sector as well, the government has shown quite a bit of thrust here. Do you see promise in individual sectors and companies that are linked intricately to the rural theme?
Yes, consumption is a theme that has been doing well for quite some time. And frankly, that's the only theme that we can see visibility for, because the investment cycle is still not picked up. So consumption, both rural and urban, should do well. We have seen numbers showing traction, especially on some of the rural oriented plays like FMCG, like tractors, like even two-wheelers are showing some uptick. So rural and urban consumption should continue to do well. The private sector capex cycle is still not picking up. The other thing that is working in the market and will likely to be stronger going forward is the government spending link, whether it's on the roads part or affordable housing part. Those are the two things basically that are working in the market.
Here, in the last couple of months of the correction playing out, which are the areas you have been shopping in the market in this correction, mid caps or large caps? If not stocks, at least give us some themes. You just spoke about one government capex theme. Within that, because that's a very big basket, what are the kind of stocks which you have loaded up on?
So the government capex theme is something we have been overweight on some time. It's not necessarily been added in the last few months, but it's essentially the construction plays, both the road builders as well as the buildings, government buildings, urban buildings. Those kind of plays essentially on the construction side is what we are looking at for the government capex side. In the last few months, if you were to ask me, what we have probably changed a little is reduced our underweight stance on IT. There's a bit of traction out there, at least in some of the companies. The stocks had become relatively quite cheap. So we were reasonably underweight, and now we are neutral to mildly overweight in the segment. So that's one shift that we have made in the portfolio.
Mihir, not exactly in the listed space, but extremely large, in fact, biggest retail e-commerce related M&A is just about to be announced. We've seen about it, read about it. Of course, we broke the story. Details are now coming in. What do you make of this Walmart taking the controlling stake in Flipkart? How do you analyze the sector?
So as we just mentioned, consumption in India is what is driving the GDP growth. One of course hopes that it is matched by equal amount of FDI in manufacturing also, but at least that's one engine that is driving the Indian economy, as well as the global economy is benefiting from the Indian consumption theme, because there aren't too many markets the size of India which are growing at a reasonable pace. So I think if you were to say consider India as a market, I think it's one of the last growth frontiers, last big growth frontiers in the global consumption theme. So I think it fits very well in the scheme of things, driving both Indian as well as global growth.
Just to drive that point forward, Mihir, Walmart has been a US retail behemoth for years on end, and now it is venturing into the e-commerce space. So while I understand your view on the consumption space as a whole, there is really, I think we're talking about the biggest e-commerce, world's biggest e-commerce acquisition ever. This is going to pit Walmart versus the rivals like Amazon, etc., which are, one of the biggest players and the fastest growing markets. So how are you looking at the overall e-commerce play versus the retail play? And I'll just take you through, our viewers, through some details. The SoftBank CEO has confirmed Walmart will be buying the controlling stake in Flipkart. My colleague Chandra also will be joining in a moment. But how are you looking at the overall e-commerce play versus the traditional retail play as a whole in growing markets now?
So the point is, you have a young population, and you have this coincidence where a lot of data is now available very cheaply to the Indian population. The data penetration, the mobile phone penetration has really been exploding over the last couple of years since bandwidth became so cheap, and mobile plans became so cheap. So that is, I think, driving at least the savvy urban young consumer to the mobile marketplace, so to say, and that's one of the phenomena that we are seeing evolving very strongly. Of course, we mostly invest in listed companies, so there's not much for us to do in that space. But as you can see, a lot of action happening on the private side, on unlisted side.
Okay, just let's take note of those flashes as well. Right now, that's the biggest deal in the e-commerce space. Some more details emerging as we speak. The SoftBank CEO has said that $2.5 billion stake worth about a Flipkart stake in Flipkart is worth about $4 billion in the deal. Remember, we're only garnering these flashes from agencies, but this is a story that we at ET now have been very closely tracking. One of the biggest within the e-commerce space as well. Just a short while ago, as well, we were talking about the developments of this deal, Ajay.
Mihir, I would like to understand from you, Walmart, a player like Walmart getting aggressive into a country like India. How do you think that the existing retail models, Shoppers Stop and many others, how would they shape up from here on in your view?
Well, on the brick and mortar space, as far as Indian retail is concerned, we have seen a cycle already where there was a in the early 2000s there was a big expansion. Then we saw probably a little bit overstretching of some of the players, and now we are back to a model where I think efficiencies have improved, logistics background have improved. The backbone of retail is logistics, that has improved. So to that extent, I think the brick and mortar play as far as the retail space is concerned has stabilized a bit, and we do see a space for the brick and mortar organized retail to keep growing along with the e-com side.
Okay, that's the latest that we're picking up with respect to that deal, and I will be getting on board in just a short while my colleague Chandra, who will be giving us more perspective on this deal. Remember, it's going to deliver a big blow to its rival Amazon. Amazon has been going ahead and expanding very aggressively since it entered the Indian market. That was in the year 2013, and we had more details emerging week by week, day by day. Last week, Flipkart's board agreed to sell up to 75% to Walmart-led group. That was only according to reports, and now it seems that we're getting a little more clarity regarding the same.
Right.
In fact, my colleague Chandra is standing by with all the latest details. Chandra?
Avan, these are flashes quoting agencies where they have said that the SoftBank CEO has confirmed sale of Flipkart to Walmart. This is a very important confirmation coming in because it's the first official word on the deal. And remember, SoftBank is one of the largest shareholders of Flipkart with a 23% stake. They, of course, came in last year through a mega investment. And now if Masayoshi Son has confirmed the stake sale, then you really don't have anything else to look forward to. Like we've been reporting since yesterday, reporting this morning, this is a done deal. So expect an announcement in the next few hours. But this is the first big confirmation we are getting from one of Flipkart's biggest investors. Remember, SoftBank will be exiting Flipkart after this deal, and their focus on e-commerce in India will of course be on their other investment, which is Paytm, where Alibaba is also an investor. But this is significant because it's the first confirmation coming in from a big strategic investor.
Right. All right, Chandra, thanks very much for breaking it down for us. So that was Chandra Shrikant, my colleague, talking about, of course, she broke that story much earlier in the market, that mega M&A in the retail space. Mihir is still with us. Mihir, apart from consumption, how do you see, the rural-based economy actually pan out from here on? Commentary from M&M and many other FMCG companies regarding rural end is pretty decent. How are you positioning in that space in your own portfolios?
So the next 1 year looks quite good, I would say, assuming that the monsoons pan out well, which the initial indications are yes, they would pan out well. So apart from the monsoons, the driver will be the government's focus on improving the farm incomes, especially trying to double the farm incomes by 2020-22. The theme being, of course, we are in an election year, and we haven't seen that much of a price increase over the last 2-3 years. So there is a bit of a catch up to do as far as the farmers are concerned. So I think there will be more money in the rural population over the next 12 months, and that should drive consumption in that segment going forward. The way to play it would be, of course, through the small ticket items like FMCG and the bigger ticket items like, say, two-wheelers as well as tractors, etc.
How are you looking at this overall correlation with crude oil prices impacting some of the OMCs, some of the other players within the space? And just wanted to get in your assessment on the deal as a whole, because it came as a foreign policy shocker of sorts with the nuclear deal win with Iran being scrapped by the US. How are you reading into that development, and how are you looking at its implications on individual sectors back home?
Sure. So it's obviously negative for the oil marketing companies because this is the election year, so I don't know how much of the price increase can be absorbed. Though indications are that after the Karnataka elections, probably we'll be back to normal price increases. But the oil prices in general are bad for India. It impacts the trade deficit, it impacts inflation, it impacts the fiscal deficit, and of course the bond yields go up, banking system also get impacted to that extent. So definitely oil prices now hovering around 75 and looks like they're inching up is not good news for us.
All right, Mihir, we'll let you go on that one. Thank you very much coming on the channel today, and look forward to have more of you going forward on the show.